is going to be a very serious month of victory for all of us in Jesus' name. As we have been told at the beginning, this is going to be a landmark year. And someone is going to begin even right now with a landmark breakthrough. When we talk about a landmark breakthrough, we are talking of a miracle, the first of its kind. A kind of miracle that had never happened before. For example, in Genesis chapter 18 from verse 1 to 14, Genesis 18 from verse 1 to 14, Abraham and Sarah had a landmark miracle. A 90-year-old woman became pregnant. Nobody had ever had that kind of thing before. The other day, my children and I, we were discussing during the morning devotion. Just imagine a 90-year-old woman becoming pregnant. That's a miracle on its own. Then that she was able to carry the pregnancy. That's a bigger miracle still. And then she was able to go through childbirth and didn't die from the pain. That's the biggest miracle of all. But you know what Sarah said in Genesis chapter 21? He said, God has made me to laugh. And everybody who will hear about it will laugh with me. May I decree to someone this morning, the breakthrough that is coming your way will cause you to laugh. When we talk about landmark miracles, we have another example in Exodus chapter 14. From verse 21 to 28. Exodus 14, 21 to 28. When a man lifted his hand and the Red Sea opened, when all of a sudden there was a way where there was no way before. That is a landmark miracle. And there is someone here today, God is about to make a way for you where there was no way before. I was sharing with my partners not too long ago that in 1981, when I became general overseer, I went to visit my village. And the whole village gathered together to welcome me. And then they made a request. They thought that now that I was general overseer, I would know people. At that time, nobody knew me, and I knew nobody except God. From my town to Ile-Ife is a distance of 8 kilometers. From my town to Ilesha is a distance of 20 kilometers. From Ilesha to Ife is a distance of 32 kilometers. Because there was no road to link my village to Ife. Whenever we wanted to go to Ife, we first of all go to Ilesha, 20 kilometers, and then go to Ife, 32 kilometers. We were traveling 52 kilometers instead of 8. So when I came to town, they said, "Sir, will you use your good offices that there be a road between Ife and Ifewara?" And the Spirit of God spoke to me and said, "Ask them which direction they want the road." And they pointed the direction. And I lifted my hand and I said, "In the mighty name of Jesus, let there be a road." I knew nobody. Nobody knew me. But 6 months later, the federal government, decided to construct a road. Now today, this morning, I'm lifting my hand to all of you. From this moment onward, where there was no way before, there will be a way. In 1 Kings chapter 18, from verse 1 to 39. 1 Kings 18, from verse 1 to 39. A man prayed, and fire fell from heaven. It has not happened before. It was a landmark miracle. A man's prayer was answered by fire. I told my covenant partners also, I said, around the same 1980 something, I went to Akure. I'm giving you name of places so that you can check the story. And there was one of my children who had a big factory outside, on the outskirts of Akure. But then he discovered that people were not coming to buy from the factory. And the reason was that there was one herbalist, very well-known herbalist, who had a shrine under an Iroko tree. And all the big people were coming to him for charms. But then people discovered that around that area where the shrine was, if you go into the bush there, you see many bodies, beheaded bodies, harmless bodies, and so on. So people stopped coming there because they didn't want to be kidnapped and killed. So my son took me to the factory. And when we got to the factory, he pointed at the shrine and said, that is the source of my problem. I said, no problem. I raised my hand towards that place and I prayed a simple prayer. You see, darkness must give way to light. I can't remember whether 2 or 3 days later, a little rain fell and thunderbolt came down from heaven, struck the Iroko tree, broke it to pieces, destroyed the shrine. I'm lifting my hand towards you today, and I decree all your prayers will be answered by fire.